Hello and welcome to Inside the Weinberg Center. Today we are talking with John Healy, Executive Theater Manager for the Weinberg Center of the Arts here in Frederick, Maryland. How are you, John?
I'm doing very well, Susan.
Good, good. And I know sitting here today reminds me of my youth.
Oh,
Spending 35 cents to come to the 2:30 matinee.
Right, for the Tivoli. Yeah,
yes,
a lot of
so
that is something we hear a lot from many of our patrons.
I'm sure you do. Well, tell me, what does the Weinberg Center have scheduled for this spring?
We have quite a few things still lined up, starting with on March 31st. Let's start there. At the end of March, we have Roseanne Cash and her husband coming in here for a special, very intimate concert on Monday night. Because the next night, on Tuesday, she's talking about her new book that she's written for Frederick Reed's. And so we thought, well, as long as she's going to be in town, let's get them here. So she's going to be doing that. And then we continue our Tivoli Discovery series, in which we bring in new young artists that are not known. We just did Snarky Puppy, who just won a Grammy, and they had over 600 people came to see this young and up-and-coming group. But we've got Nora Jane Struthers and the Party Line. And Nora Jane is a Americana music. So the folks that just saw the Americana Festival that we held earlier in March will be able to like this, tie into this music. And then in June, we have Quinn Sullivan, a blues guitarist who's 14 years old, started playing with Buddy Guy when he was 8. So he's an incredible guitarist. He's coming up in June. We also have the Frederick Speaker Series. Now, we have Dr. Ben Carson coming up in April, and I'm afraid he's already sold out.
That was a very popular, yes.
Yeah. We had Lisa Ling, who had to cancel for professional reasons. So we have actually booked another date to replace her with the very popular NPR host, Diane Rehm. And she'll be here on April the 25th at 8 o'clock. So that if people had tickets for Lisa Ling, they just need to call us and we can switch them right over to the Diane Rehm program on April 25th. Let's see, and then Tom Brokaw finishes the speaker series on May the 12th, I believe it is.
Another very popular one, I'm sure.
Another very popular one, sure, and he's going to be talking about, of course, his career, but also the folks that served in World War II, and in the great, he called it in his great book, The Greatest Generation. So that finishes out the speaker series. We also have a lot of dance coming in. A lot of community groups use the theater in May and in June for their recitals. And then our Flying Dog movie series continues. Let's see, we've got The Jerk. We've got Monty Python's Holy Grail coming in here. We have Animal House, which finishes up the season in June, and Pulp Fiction for that lighthearted evening. And so what we do with the Flying Dog series, since it's sponsored by Flying Dog, we have a happy hour an hour before the movie, so you can come in and have some good tasting beer. We usually have trivia or other games that we try to do, and just to make it a fun night out.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Well, you have a variety, something for everyone.
I think so, and even a silent movie. We have one more silent movie coming up. It'll be up here in June, and then the Frederick Film Festival. I don't want to forget that. I do also want to mention something that for many years, Ray Brubacher was the resident organist here for our silent movies. Ray passed away in March.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
But what we're going to do is that on April 6th, we've got Michael Britt, a fine young organist from the Baltimore area, Ray's family, and many patrons from his church down in Olney. We're going to have a celebration of Ray's life. So that's open to the public, and we're hoping as many people will come. We're going to have some music that Ray played. We'll show a little video about the organ that we show. So we're just hoping that the city of Frederick will come, take a few moments just to remember Ray.
Well, since you mentioned the organ, can you tell us a little bit about why this organ is so special?
Well, it's so special because it is the last working Wurlitzer organ in its original location in the state of Maryland. It is right underneath us, actually, and then the pipes are built into the walls. The pipes were not destroyed during the flood of '76. The council did float up on stage, so the council is not original, but the pipes are still original. And so we still show about a half a dozen silent movies a year with the organ accompaniment. And the room was made, you can even hear a little bit of the voice reverb off the hard surfaces of the wall. They were made for the organ. When we did all the renovations, we had to be very careful that we weren't changing the tone of the room for the organ.
And I've been here for some of the silent movies with the organ, and it really is magnificent.
It's really unique.
It's an experience, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
it really is.
I had never heard a Wurlitzer organ and watched a silent movie. I of course had watched them on TV with the sort of cheesy piano background to it. But the first time I got here and Ray came in to start warming up the organ, my mouth just dropped. And it's an amazing thing to watch because there are no scores. These people are they're watching the movie and they're just playing along with it, so they're creating it, and they're creating all the sound effects, all the orchestra. It's truly a unique talent.
It's going to be a lost art one day.
It is. It's getting harder and harder to find folks. I mean, we're fortunate to have Michael Britt, that was a protege of Ray's, here to help us out.
Well, getting back to the programming, I notice sometimes when I see the brochure, you have additional shows that aren't in the brochure. So how can people find out what new shows or what new talent you're bringing in that may not have been in the original brochure?
Sure. What we're trying to do now is take advantage of all the great social media that is out there. And also, there are some very practical reasons why we do that, is that we can sometimes get big name artists for lesser price, if we find that they're looking for a date to fill in. So what we do is that as soon as we book an artist and have the contract signed, we let all our members know. They know first. So they have the first opportunity to buy the tickets, and then we blast it through the press releases as well as on our website. So yeah, and we have found that people are watching or following our website to see when we're announcing. And so we will be announcing Diane Rehm very soon.
So there's more to the program that's what's in the program.
That is correct.
That's
yeah.
great.
I mean, we'll still do a program, but we're trying to get beyond the program. I think the goal eventually would be to put everything online, so that we save the trees and save the expense of mailing and all those kinds of things.
And I know you're very supportive of community talent, and I know you do a lot of support of community talent. I saw where the 5th grade all-county chorus is going to perform here. And my daughter was in that at one point in time. They're fabulous. Yeah, these children are fabulous.
Yeah, they do a great job for that. Yeah, we try to, about 40% of the things we do are for community-based organizations, whether it's the Maryland Regional Ballet bringing in their annual Nutcracker, or the Maryland Ensemble Theater doing their annual production of Christmas Carol, or many of the dance recital companies doing that. It is a big space that allows them to sell a lot of tickets, and it helps supports their programs in their smaller spaces, and so that works out well for us. You know, so we're trying to balance that.
Right, it's good community theater.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, you know, we're just you know, again, you have to be careful because sometimes people will look and they'll think it's a professional company, and we have to make sure that they know it's a local group doing this show.
Well, another thing, I come to events here and I see volunteers and I think, oh, I want to do that. I would love to volunteer at the Weinberg Center. Everybody seems to have a good time. And how does one become a volunteer at the Weinberg Center?
It's very easy. All they have to do is either call me or send me an email, and you can just go on our weinbergcenter.org and say, contact us. That email comes to me. I send it on to our volunteer coordinator, Linda Despo, and then we usually have a meeting in the fall and another one in the early winter, in which we tell people, explain what it takes to be a volunteer at the Weinberg Center, and then once they start earning hours that they can use to buy tickets. Right at that very first meeting, so they gain 10 hours, they can see. They can use it in exchange for a ticket to see a show. Plus, they get to, most of the time, they get to see shows while they're actually working. At least 90% of the shows. You know, so it's very easy. So we're always looking for volunteers of all ages. I think we have about 150 that are really that we rely on. We use about 15 to 20 for every performance. We try to rotate folks as much as we can as well.
Well, that's great. And one last thing I want to bring up. I know you have a very strong and very active board of directors.
Uh-huh.
And how do they play into the Weinberg Center?
Well, the Weinberg Center, of course, is a city-owned building, and we are both city employees. And so what it is that this is a separate 501c3, and their main goal is to assist with fundraising. They were responsible for raising the funds that helped to renovate the theater. They did that capital campaign. They also raise funds to help support many of the programs that we have here at the Weinberg Center. And then we're able to use their sponsorships, their fundraising abilities to apply it in other areas as well. They help support the Smarts program, where that brings in all the county children to see live shows, which is a great program.
Oh, my grandson loved it.
Did he? Yeah. So we have about 15,000 kids that come through our doors during weekday performances on an annual basis. Next year we're shooting for even more.
My goodness.
We're trying to keep ourselves busy, as they say. So they really, that is their main focus, but they also assist with other organizations in town. We've got a board of, I think it's 18 right now. These are all very strong community leaders. They make connections. They help us do the things that we can do here at the Weinberg Center. It helps us keep our prices lower than other performing arts centers in the general area.
And I also know that you're always looking for talent. And if somebody in the community wants to give you a name of a group or a program, you're always open for that, aren't you?
I don't even pretend to know that I know everybody, and I wish I had more time to go out and to hang out at all the Cafe Nola's or the Cafe 611, those kinds of things, to see the young talent that's coming through here. So I rely on other folks to tell me. Again, go to the WeinbergCenter.org. Click on Contact Us and send me your suggestion. Just click on my name and say, hey, I saw this young group. Can't promise. Obviously, it's hard sometimes for young groups to fill up 1,183 seats, but our Discovery Series was made just for that. Was to we actually make the theater into a 250-seat theater and make it a more intimate space for the young performer.
You never know when a new town's going to be discovered in the Weinberg Center, the city of Frederick.
That's correct. That is correct.
Well, John, thank you so much. Is there anything else you would like to bring up today or chat about before we?
I think that pretty much covers it, and I thank you and I thank the city for this opportunity to talk about the Weinberg Center. We're very excited about the programming we do. We're putting together the 14-15 season right now, and I think there's going to be some surprises. I'm especially looking forward to the first week of December, because if it all comes together, we're going to be able to offer Christmas shows that will focus on music from Italy, the Deep South, country, jazz, and Ireland. There's going to be a week of performances if it all comes together, and so I think that's going to be a fun project.
Well, that sounds great. And thank you today. Thank you for joining us today, and it's been wonderful. And there's going to be more shows on Inside the Weinberg Center on a variety of topics, and I know the public will enjoy them.
Great. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm John Healy, and today we're going to be talking about some of the historical aspects of the Weinberg Center that were part of our renovations in 2008. Right behind me here, we've got our chandeliers. Now, those chandeliers are actually operated by hand-operated winches that are up in the ceiling. It takes about 15 minutes to lower them down. Over the years, people tried to lower these lamps down by themselves by looking through the little hole in the ceiling, and quite often they misjudged how far down the lamps were going. So when we got here in 2008, half of the panels on each one of the 4 chandeliers were cracked, had been re-glued, some were even missing. So what we did is that we located a local artist by the name of John Patton. He was able to match the historical stained glass, and we sent it off to this place in Pennsylvania that recreated the panels, and you can see there are many in each one of these chandeliers. And then we mixed new glass with the old glass and then put them back up. So now every single panel is clean, does not have a crack at all. That's one of the very small things we did. All the lighting you see here at the Weinberg Center is from 1926. it has, of course, been rewired. Thanks. Over the next few weeks, we'll be talking more about some of the historical aspects of the Weinberg Center for the Arts.